Alrighty, we are live. Alrighty, from Columbus, OH, and this is answering your financial questions again live with Coach Steve Money, episode number 181. And for my financial content, you just go to my homepage, or whether it's where you're watching this, youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. And right below the Oak Island and Skinwalker Ranch playlists, you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist. And the music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, including How to Do the Baby Steps Right, because so many people do them incorrectly. So listen to those songs if you are so inclined. If you like Weird Al parodies especially, you might like those. Not really parodies per se, just use their music and lyrics, or their lyrics and melody line, and put Ramsey-esque words to them. Well, let's do some questions. I'll get around to it, don't worry. Is that the right one? Save chicken by not buying coffee drinks. I talked about that. We did that one yesterday on the after show, which after shows, Ramsey Show After Show shows start at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. But how many of you have saved a significant amount by not buying coffee drinks? I never really bought the coffee drinks. Never went to Starbucks. I don't think I've ever been, maybe one time. So I went with somebody else that wanted to go, but they just picked up a drink from there. I didn't buy anything from there, and we didn't stay there and enjoy the ambiance there or anything like that. So I've never been there, really. So I never got into that. I get my caffeine a much cheaper way, with soft drinks, a thing that we call here in the Midwest of the United States, we call it pop. And don't ask me where that came from. I don't specifically call it that unless I'm trying to point out where I live, or kind of making fun of it or whatever, because it's also not soda like they say on the East Coast. It's not that. That's not what it is either. It's a soft drink is what it is. Anyway, yeah, I don't buy those anywhere. If I get food from a takeout place, I don't get a drink, because my drinks here at the house, I'm not eating it there anyway. Most times, I'm bringing it back here to the crib and using my drinks, which are a lot cheaper than that. Dude, I went into, now the most expensive place to get groceries, I think, is Whole Foods, possibly, but right there with it should be probably Giant Eagle. Is crazy, because they have 1.25 liters for $2. Okay, and I get my drinks, I did get the off-brand drink, the store brand rather, the Big K drinks from the Kroger grocery stores, and those are $1.25 each, and sometimes on sale for $1 each, and I stock up when they are. So I have saved a significant amount of money over the years to do that. I don't always do that. Occasionally my son and I will eat at Raising Cane's or go out for Mexican, and if I eat there, yes, I will buy a drink there. But I will get multiple, if it's a waiter waitress type of deal, I will get at least one refill. I've never gotten at least one refill. And at Raising Cane's, I fill it up the first time during the meal or before the meal, then a second time during the meal, and then a third time when I'm leaving for the road. So I'm trying to hurt them a little bit, but they're probably not losing money overall. on me. Let's see, we got Easy Entertainer Minute, 119. Okay. David Spade used to do Hollywood Minute on Saturday Night Live, and it is Saturday, of course. I'm scared. $10,000 for monthly budget. You're scared that that's not enough, or because that's how much it is? Let's find out, shall we? There's no dots, so this should be everything. I'm about to transition from the military. Currently, my budget every month is roughly $4,500, but my wife and I have no kids. Don't have to worry about healthcare and have no debt. Great. We want to have 2 kids. Permission granted. After doing some research, the cost of daycare is $2,000 per kid, and family health insurance premium per month is about $2,300. Possibly, but I mean, it depends on what your wife makes at her job, or what her job health insurance is, and so it could possibly not be that much per month. So you'll have to look into that. I mean, they're not really cheap, but maybe you need to go down from the 4,500 budget. Maybe it needs to be lower than that. Maybe you need to cut out some things. Let's see. Is this accurate? Is too many variables involved in it. And we want to have 2 kids doesn't mean that you will have even one. Unfortunately, you can't, everybody can't get pregnant. So, sometimes there's complications. Or maybe you'll have one and then there's a complication after the one, and then you can't ever have another one. You, of course, could adopt, but that again adds its own cost. And so there's just too many variables to try to guess. You will get through it regardless. The kids are worth it, 100% for sure. You might just have to sacrifice some dumb stuff that you're doing. Now, you might have to downgrade the type of house that you live in, etc., etc. So, with kids, that's not something that Dave ever tells anybody to worry about. As far as that goes. But let's see, is this accurate? Oh, because if it is, our combined income would have to be roughly 175 in the state we want to live in. And got the, is that crying, laughing emoji there? Okay. Then yeah, you might have to make, if it costs that much, and if your math is correct, then I would say yes. But then look at your budget now, stuff you're including in that budget, and see if it's things that you can cut out, because they aren't nearly as important to you as your kids will be. That kind of thing. So, it's great to think in advance about all this, because you have to figure it out. I mean, transitioning from military to civilian life and a new job is going to be difficult enough, I'm sure. I mean, that's quite a change, even if there's no other complications at all. It's still going from military to the civilian job is probably, jarring, probably. I would imagine. So, but as far as the kids, start with 1. If you can, I mean, if you have twins, nothing you can do about that. Then you get 2 right off the bat. Congratulations. But otherwise, start with 1, and why don't we go there instead of trying to plan out our whole entire life? We're gonna have 2 kids. We're gonna have 3 dogs. Quit. Stop it. Stop it. You don't know. We don't know the future. We don't know exactly what the future is going to happen. So it's good to look into this stuff as far as how much things will cost. And also, hey, guess what? What's more important to you? Living in the state you want to live in, or having 2 kids and not having to worry about budget? Things that make you go, So So in all your, in all your math and all your looking into the insurance and cost of daycare and et cetera, that didn't never occur to you that, oh, maybe we don't live in that expensive of a state then. Although I don't think 175. Let's see, what was daycare there? $2,000 a month. Yeah, that's probably going to be about the same everywhere, but I would be interested in the state that is. And if it was only 10 comments or so, I click on it, but it's 33. So not going to delve into that, but that's would be the thing that I would tell this person to check out is maybe you consider moving to a different state then instead. You want to live in that state or you want to have two kids. If it comes down to you want the one choice above another, what are you going to choose? And then go from there. Artistic, not autistic, it's artistic. Weird 6125. Staying home during baby steps. Okay, let's see what this is all about. Because that could mean any number of things. Hi everyone, hi guys, I'm man30. Just started trying to do the debt snowball / baby steps. Do or do not. There is no try. And one thing I feel like for me that is a struggle is, well, keeping my ass home. Is well keeping my ass home? This is not, you don't have to write it out like a play and have the little, is well keeping my ass at home. You could just say a struggle is keeping my ass at home. You could just say that. Dumb. Anyway, I critique these. Yeah, so yeah, I get it. I get it. My ex-wife was always go and do and go and do and go and do, and I'm sure is the same way now. She always wants to go and do and everything, and she knows so many different people. So she has a bunch of different friend groups and so forth. And so, staying home is not that common, probably. I find it, but we did manage to curb it enough to get out of debt before we even got divorced. I find it so hard to do, especially on days when I work from home. If you're working from home, you should stay at home, because if you get in the car, that's gas money. So, and the baby steps isn't riding around for joy riding or any of that crap. Let's see. I have been spending my guilt-free amount on going to kava bars, coffee shops to get out of the house. Well, maybe you don't need a guilt-free amount then, because guess what? It sounds like you're having guilt about it. And so if you can't spend the money without having guilt about it or worrying about it, then maybe you shouldn't have a guilt-free amount. Or maybe it should be way, way lower. So out of the house so I do not go insane. Okay, wah. Justification station here. You can stay at your house. It will not hurt you to stay at your house. It won't hurt you. Now, a lot of people are fine to do that. Those of us that like video games and watching things do enjoy that, staying home. And you do pay a lot of money for your apartment or house, so why not want to stay there? I get it, being outside, great outdoors and all that, but I can go for a walk or run right outside here, and I don't have to pay anybody or drive anywhere to do that. I can do that. So even with all the streaming services and video games, okay, I still find it difficult to stay home without me feeling like an isolated loser. Well, that's in your head, man. That's in your head. That's not a money problem. That's your mind problem. And if you can't be an adult and say, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to leave the house, because that will mean more money spent and less progress on the baby steps. And if you decide the baby steps are something you want to do, then as an adult, you need to be able to squelch the going out thing. And you can still like that better, it's fine, but you just don't do it during this hashtag season while you're on the baby steps. And this feeling like an isolated loser, see, that's all in your own mind, and that's your own preference. So I don't, no matter what I choose to do, even if it's staying in the house, I probably stayed in. I don't do it that much. I mean, I do go outside and such, at least once a day, even if I'm not working. I go out at least for a little walk every day. But feeling like an isolated loser, see, that by using such aggressive language like that and making it sound so bad, I'm not going to tell you, okay, well, you can do it, then you can go ahead and spend that money and do the baby steps slower. No, the idea is to be gazelle intense, especially during the first 2-3 baby steps. So nobody feels sorry for you, I don't suppose. Maybe somebody will, but not this guy. I know I'll be more of a loser with still being in debt. Exactly. That is the reality of the situation. And again, being able to get rid of all your little kid stuff about, I want it now, I want this now. You just be an adult and say no to yourself. Let's see, but it's a struggle. Okay, great. If you need to talk to a psychiatrist about it, if it's that much of a problem where you can't be an adult and tell yourself no, then you do have a problem and you need a psychiatrist. Any suggestion would be appreciated. I would say try to quit being whiny, quit feeling sorry for yourself. Also, quit. Why would you be feeling like an isolated loser? Because you already know that progressing on the baby steps will mean you're not a loser. You might be isolated, but you don't have to do that either. You can go outside, you can go talk to people, you can do anything you want to that doesn't cost money, you idiot. Anyway, not necessarily idiot, but it's just, I don't understand how when people's minds work like that. You would think, you know, I mean, starting the baby steps is a big thing, and you think you would think about it, you know, a while and not just jump into it willy-nilly, although I guess some people do. But I just don't understand if, as an adult, you made a decision to do the baby steps and you want to get out of debt, and then, yes, you pay attention to every cent that you spend. And if you think it's something dumb, like I think a kava bar and I don't even know what kava is. I don't even know what that is. Or coffee shops. No, if you want coffee, you can do it at the house. You don't need to be out in the midst of people. And even if you do, you can go to a freaking mall and walk around and not buy anything. So there are things to do out in the world that do not cost money, so find them. Quit being a baby, and if you actually have a serious problem where you can't make yourself do that, then you're not able to function as an adult correctly, and you do need counseling. Seriously. Sarah here now, a frequent poster on here, and I believe the last one that she did was whack, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was whack, as the kids say. Actually, they don't say that anymore. They probably haven't said that since the 1980s or so. Some advice, please. But I am from the 1900s, so you're going to hear some references from the 1900s, kids. Some advice, please. I will be happy to do that for you. I bought a house and my family kindly said they would help fix it up. I didn't set boundaries. Mistake. Beep, 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 beep. Hopefully you have done that now, if that helping is continuing. And they got carried away. My mom came and painted my wall the wrong color. Okay, mum and color with a U, so I'm guessing not America, but that's okay. And I was just going to keep it white, so now I've had to buy more paint to cover it up. No, you did. No, you didn't. You could have asked her to do it. Although, if you didn't let her know in advance that you wanted the wall white, that was your problem to begin with. But also, you could leave it the color that she paints it. Who gives a crap? It doesn't matter. The wall still works no matter what color it is, right? It still works, right? If it keeps out everything on the outside of the house, if it keeps that out, then the wall is working no matter what color it is. So, and now I've had to, and this is the whole thing with the Ramsey stuff, man. People are like, I had to, and did this guy say I have to get out? It's difficult to stay home. No, he didn't say he had to get out of the house, but could have just thrown that in there as well, and I wouldn't have been surprised. Oh, there's more. My bad. Didn't notice the ellipses before. Had to buy more paint. No, you didn't. That was your choice. You chose to do that. My brother said he would help with the garden. He then bought expensive equipment like chainsaws. Okay, chainsaws, no punctuation. He doesn't work, so I felt obligated to pay for them. Okay, again, these are all your choices, my friend. So you have nowhere to look for who to blame other than in the mirror. Stare directly, what is it? Stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. Must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. Hey, that one was not from the 1900s, kids. So you might know that one. He had already bought them. So, especially, guess what? If he bought them, and see, this is the kind of people do with their friends and family. This is the kind of dumb crap people do. So, okay, say he bought them. If nobody used them yet, he can return them to the store that he got them from. But people have no boundaries. Like the guy says he didn't set boundaries. People don't do that, and they just say, oh, well, I guess I'm stuck with this. No, you're not. You could have told him to take it back, or told him, hey, ask for the receipt, and then you could take it back. Had already bought them. I then also gave him money for the work. He spent it in a week on something he didn't need. Hey man, that's none of your damn business. Quit being stupid. You're worrying about things you don't need to be worried about, like the color of the freaking wall and what your, who is it? Brother-in-law? Who is it? Brother, no. Blood brother, I guess. Brother. So here's how it works. So he worked on your garden or whatever, right? And you gave him money for working in the garden. And so here's how it works. When you give him money for doing something, that's great. Don't know if that was, you didn't say anything. You just said, they said they're going to help, and you were like, oh, great, and that was it. And so then it got all out of your control. And see, first of all, you don't try to control everything about everybody else, but here in this situation where you gave him the money, so after you give him the money for that, you don't need to be concerned what he does with the money. That's none of your damn business. Bought Does your employer ask you where you spent your money that he gives you? No, probably not. My mom insisted I needed new flooring, and again, need. You people that are trying to do the Ramsey advice and failing, do a need check in your head every time you think you need to do something and decide if it's actually a need or not. It's not. So your mom insisted needed new flooring. She was wrong. And so you need to tell her she's wrong when, you didn't set up boundaries. The first thing that happened that made you realize, oh, I didn't set up boundaries, so this is costing me more money. Then the next time anybody says anything that's going to lead to spending more money, you say no, no. Or, I don't know where you are. If you're in Australia, that would be a nar. Bloody no, or if it's the UK. Insisted I need new flooring throughout the house. I can't afford ear. I said I would either, I guess. I don't know. Afford ear? I don't know. It just says IR. Afford IR. I said I will just do room by room when I can. Dad then bought flooring for me and booked the guy in my booked the guy in. My dad has a small state pension and can't afford this, and I feel I need to pay them back. You got too many feelings. I feel like, for me, it's your fault that happened because you didn't say the word no. And in the early baby steps, especially, that's when that needs to happen. Also, when you buy a house, guess what? The house costs enough money. How about we do a thing where we move in and just have all of our old stuff there from where we used to live? How about that? And we live with that for a while and see how it goes, and we don't try to decorate the whole house and try to fix it up. We don't do that. No, you don't buy a fixer-upper. Buy one that is ready to move into, and who cares what the wall color is? I mean, if you got that kind of money, great, but apparently that's a problem for you. Or at least somebody else doing it without running it by you first, and then you say you have to, which, no, again, it's a choice. Quit being dumb. People are so dumb, man. And every day I read more and more about it, and I'm always, I don't know, I'm not surprised that they do this stuff. I'm not surprised they don't want to follow the Ramsey advice, etc., etc. But it's just in my mind, when I try to think about this stuff, I did dumb stuff with money too, sure. I had debt, sure. But I don't think all this dumb, crazy stuff in my head that these people do. Or a lot of these people do, not all of them. He tried to buy expensive CCTV, closed circuit television, so for camera system. So yeah, for security, like security cameras system. I stopped him because he told me beforehand, and some expensive fences, which I stopped as well. Good. So that's where you say no, and it might, at that point, by the time all that happened, that's when you contact every single family member or get them all together or something like that. And you say, no more stuff for my house. I can't afford it. I'm out of money. Stop it. When they tell me about it, I stop it. But they made purchases without asking. I know they mean well. Well, did they do that since you started telling them no about stuff? And probably you didn't tell them because, people are so dumb. They're like, oh, well, I don't want to hurt their little feelings. Well, make up your mind. Do you not want to hurt their little feelings? Or do you just want to have them buy stuff or do work and then you have to pay for it? You feel like you have to pay for it. Okay? all that's going on in your head, and there's no reason for it to be. It should be a quick yes, a quick answer between the two. What's more important, not hurting their little feelings for doing something that's unnecessary, especially if you tell them no and they still do it. Then I would accept any of that and assume it's a gift at that point because you already told them. Anyway, I know they mean well, but they don't earn. They don't earn. They don't earn. I guess they don't earn. They don't have jobs. Where are they getting the money from then? And I feel like for me, I need to pay them back again. Too much feeling like. There's a big. What was her name? Dr. Laura Schlesinger. I don't know if she's on anymore. She used to be on the radio, giving advice and such, and people would always say, especially a lot of females call her up and say, I feel like, and she stops them and says, "Don't tell me how you feel. I want to know things that you know about this situation." Because when you start doing feelings, you start making decisions on your feelings, and feelings are not enough most of the time to make the decision. My issue is I work as a contractor. I've eaten into my emergency fund. That's your dumbass fault, okay? So on top of this, like this person didn't need any extra problems, but on top of this, guess what? Might have gotten a 30-year mortgage because he couldn't afford the house otherwise, which means he bought too much house. So he might have bought too much house as it was. And so eating into your emergency fund for what? None of the stuff that I saw was emergencies. So you're a dumbass for dipping into your emergency fund. It says it right there. It says emergency fund. That's the first word in it. So that means an emergency would be required to use it. Dumb. And I've probably got a cough for another month for bills. Oh, I guess enough. I probably got enough for another month for bills and food, but I will get paid in January. And working hard to get paid sooner, but nothing has planned out yet. Just be panned out yet, I guess. Frustratingly, if he had just waited till January, I could have afforded a new floor, but now I will. Yeah, hey, quit trying to control other people. You just tell them no as far as them trying to do something that you are going to feel like you need to pay them for. So the stuff that they did before you said, "Hey, don't do any more stuff," which I don't trust him that he even told them that. He was able to stop some certain things, but he's not good. That doesn't mean that they will stop doing everything. They'll just do it without asking him about it first or letting him know about it. And then what? Then you'll have to pay them back. You need to do that. No, you don't need to. But what you do need to do is tell them no more money spending on my house. Thank you, but no. Appreciate everything you did so far, and you paid people for stuff, and you fixed the white the whatever color it was to and made it back white again, and you paid for that. You paid for that paint to do that, and you probably painted it yourself. But let's see. Should I pay my dad back sooner in bits or just wait till January? How are you going to live until January? So you eaten into your emergency fund already, and meaning if that's your issue is you work as a contractor. Hey, guess what? If you're not getting any income from when was this? This is this month. If you're not getting any income from September through December and not until January, then we're not in any shape to be buying a house then, you idiot. That's so dumb. That is so dumb. So I don't know, man. You know, he chose to get it himself. Now, if you told him you were going to pay him back, pay him back. If you didn't tell him you were going to pay him back, don't pay him back. Let that be their problem. See, they need to have some problems when they do dumbass stuff like you just did. So, and now you're having problems, right? So, everybody else, when they do dumbass stuff, they need to have consequences as well, right? And it doesn't matter what you feel like. You know what? You know what you should feel like right now? You should feel like for you that you want to get a freaking job and make some freaking money. You're a contractor. Somebody needs something built somewhere. Find them. Quit being a dumb ass. My goodness, I get mad at these people. Normal is broke. Common sense is weird. Absolutely. I commented on this the other day. I'm a daily listener. Oh, normal is broke and common sense is weird. I'm a daily listener and follower of Ramsey, so I come from an authentic place when I say this new opener is beyond awful. This is just your opinion. Every idiot on the internet, I guess including myself, thinks that they're right about everything and there's no other answer for it. There's no other possible answer. Nobody could possibly like it. The people that work at Ramsey like it, apparently, the ones who thought of it, and maybe it was Dave himself that thought about it, is his company. It's none of your darn business what he says at the opener. Shut up. Do your own show without that. Or, you know what? You don't have to listen to it. It's optional. It's optional, but I also don't understand this dumbass attitude people have about, well, I don't like it, but I'm going to listen anyway. You know, and of course the trolls that, that take part in anything just so they can put it down or argue or try to rabble rouse in the Ramsey Show chat, that kind of thing. And of course there's some troll posts in here, but generally if it's possible that it's actually all true, and unfortunately even the most outlandish stuff that people talk about doing in here with money, I've actually heard it on the show where somebody actually did that dumb crap. So when it gets to be like too much, when they do like 3 or 4 things, like big huge things that are anti baby step stuff, and they say they're trying to follow the baby steps. No, you're not. So probably a troll in that sense, but some people are that dumb, and that's, I often say, and I say it in the chat too, I say, well, time to play America's favorite game show. Normal or dumb troll? And it could be either at any time. Bugga 2024. Paid off my first 2 debts. Excellent. Recently started working again after having a baby, and we decided my paychecks would go entirely to paying off debt. Interesting. Wait. How did you manage to have a child and go back to work and being able to afford it? Hopefully, this dude, not the staying home, where were we? The 10K for monthly budget person. This person had a kid. Oh, hey, look, imagine that. Started with 1 baby. Apparently, unless it's second or third or fourth or fifth or 8th baby. But regardless, sounds like 1 baby at a time. That's what would be recommended. Again, if you get twins, congratulations, you got the daily double. Go with God on that. Today I got paid and was able to pay off 2 credit cards. Exclamation point. Just about 1,100. Paid off. 2 debts down. 6 to go, not including the house. So thankful I have a husband who is willing to cover our other bills while I chip away at the debts. By December, I'm hoping to have the next one paid half down. Baby step 2, a flare. So thankful. I mean, this is getting into a slippery slope here where it's kind of heading in the wrong direction. I have a husband who is willing to cover our other bills. It's all our money. Once you get married, it's all our money and it's all our bills. And so why wouldn't he? What does it matter if his money goes to paying the bills and your money goes to paying off the debt? What our money is paying the bills and the debt. Quit being dumb about that. And so it may not be a problem. It may just be that she's grateful to have the husband that is on board and if they're on the same page, etc., etc. But whenever people split it up like that, it's always worth it to at least ask. At least with like my clients, it's always enough to, I mean, always a good idea to ask to make sure that there's no problems in that area. Zoos okay 99. Realtor struggling with program. This better not be because of debt leveraging. For more, especially if you're a realtor. Dave was a realtor and he flipped houses, and that's how he went bankrupt. When his small town bank was bought by Bank of America. And the way he tells it is, he said, Bank of America people says, what's with this? I think he was 19, so it was less than 21. But I think, why does this 19-year-old kid owe over $1 million to us? Because he had several mortgages at the time. Probably started small and just got bigger and bigger and multiple at the same time. And then they said, yeah, we're going to have that money back right now. So they called the notes. And so that's why he fought for 3 years to pay it all off. And he got down to, I think it was less than $100,000 that he owed left. But then they were still going to come and take some of his stuff from his house. Anyway, so if it's any of that crap, anything with borrowing money to do your job or for your business, that's a no. And so that would cause you to struggle with program because it's just a no on that. And so if you're trying to do that and the other baby steps at the same time, that's a no. 34 man and my wife, 32 female, are in the process of taking Financial Peace University. Great. It'll explain all this stuff to you. My wife has a great job in finance that is consistent. Great. On the other hand, I'm a realtor. Since 2021, with interest rates going up, I've been working more and making less every year. Maybe you shouldn't be a realtor then. So, I mean, big deal. You don't have to justify it. Just go ahead. Oh, it does say things are finally starting to turn up for us. Great. The issue that we are struggling with is the fact that my income has such a wide range. There are sometimes months where I do not sell a home. Other times I might sell 2 homes. As a result, there are months where I might make $0 and others where I might make $13,000 to $25,000. It all just depends. My wife cannot pay all of our bills on her income only. So for those months that I don't do well, we run a slush fund, is it going to say? We run a negative. How are you running a negative? It's for that reason that I always keep a large amount of cash in our bank account. Then you're not negative then. If you have cash to pay it, that's not negative. Dumb. I know baby step 2 is to pay off debt. It is. However, I am scared to pay off too much debt, and then if I don't sell, we will be broke and can't pay our mortgage. My thinking is that it might be best to try and do a little bit of both. No, to try to do a little bit of both, and no, that's not the answer. Maybe keeping a little less buffer cash and paying more towards debt. Snowball, I'm curious if any of you were ever in a similar situation and how you handled it. No, I was not in this situation, but how you do it is you have a different savings account for not just in your checking, but specifically for when you don't make money in a month. And that's like a hill and valley account. And so the times when you have a hill, then that's where that goes. That money goes there. But you need to be honest with yourself and not keep too much in there. Like, for example, the most amount of money that should be in there would be, see the problem also is, I want to see I would want to go by like the numbers of the last year. How many months did you sell 2? How many months did you sell 0? And, and what does that look like financially? Because theoretically at any one time, there should not be any more in there than what her salary is plus the difference. Also on the no house selling times, that's when you don't go out to eat if you're doing it already, which you shouldn't be doing it already. Any dumbass other stuff you're doing that you shouldn't be doing on step 2. You also cut that out if you haven't already. But you find more things to cut out on those months. But that should all be all that's in there. And so when you do, since you're on baby step 2, paying off debt, when you do make a bunch, then you like replenish the buffer account if you need to, the hill and valley account. You do that, and then all of the rest of it that doesn't go to expenses, you do put that on debt. So, but the problem would be, again, if you have like 3 months in a row where you don't sell a house. If you have 3 months in a row where you don't sell a house, that's when it's time to find a new job, though. And that will take care of that, my friend. So, but that would be the answer on that. It's called a hill and valley account. That will cover the months when the income is not there. And then when the income is there in multiples, then that's when you would put that money into hill and valley account. And you keep that out of your checking account so you don't be a dumbass and spend it on something dumb or eating out or anything like that. And I didn't think that would be what it would be. I thought it would be something with the mortgage, like they were flipping houses themselves or some other thing. Or maybe trying to convince people to buy houses and get mortgages or something like that. So in the process of taking Financial Peace University, theoretically your coordinator, if they are, unless it's their first time taking Financial Peace University as well, which could happen. I never took it until I led a class. Of course, I probably knew more about the Ramsey advice than most other first-time coordinators. But, yeah, and that is the cheapest way to take it, by volunteering to coordinate it. Yeah, you don't get paid for it, but you also get access to all the material, obviously, without paying for that. Obi-Wanton, okay, with a 0 instead of the O, the last O. Looking for advice. Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. I was wondering at what stage you can start to spend money on toys, etc. Step 4, you can put that in your budget. I'm looking to buy a dirt bike, but can't seem to move past the guilt of spending money. Then don't spend it. A little bit about our financial standings. Me and my wife, that would be my wife and I, if English is your first language. Even if English is not your first language, that's still correct, but I wouldn't expect you to know it as much. Both 29. We own both of our cars outright. Great. Own a home, a boat, completely debt-free. We both have money in Roths and other investment vehicles. We have a nice 8 to 9 month emergency fund, and to add to it 4 beautiful children. Thanks in advance for any insight. Okay, well, they're on step 7, so I can't even yell at them about going over the 6-month emergency fund, because they're doing everything correctly and they are in step 7. Now, might have had a nice 8 to 9 month emergency fund before paying off the house, and that would have been incorrect. But now that they're on step 7, yeah, that's when you need to buy yourself dirt bikes. So, approved. Approved. Coach Steve Money approved there. And also, 8 9 a month emergency fund. Fine. Approved. What else did you want to do wrong? No, I guess that's it. So I don't know why you would feel guilty. I mean, if you thought it would be better, if you think it would be better served by going to extra emergency fund savings or to extra investing, you're right about that. It would be, but also, you've earned the right by being on step 7. You've earned the right to buy a dirt bike and, not make any money on that. You'll be making the money on it by investing it, but you will probably, since you want one, you will probably get joy out of riding that dirt bike. And so that is worth it. And starting on step 4 really is when you can start budgeting that stuff. And then starting on step 7, that's the only time you can have more than a 6-month emergency fund. Otherwise, you're doing it wrong. There's too much cash on hand sitting there instead of going to whatever baby step you're on instead. Distinct damage 4979. My husband and I dug ourselves into a big hole and want out. I ain't saying that they hole diggers. We've been married for 2 años, and we were not a team financially until now. Well, that's great that you're there now. I wasn't aware of how much credit card debt we were accruing on his cards, and both of us were getting takeout constantly and spending so much on junk. That's very normal. That's so very normal. That's how normal people work, at least in America. And probably a lot of other countries as well. So, and also it's very normal to not have any conversations about money mindset at all, or even sharing like the, how many cards you have and, what you owe and stuff like that. A lot of that, none of it, they don't worry about it because it's not a problem. It's only when it becomes a problem, somebody figures out that, oh, this is not sustainable. And then that's when it finally comes out. And so how about it should come out before you get married even? Because for some people, that might be a deal breaker. And you don't want to have deal breakers after you've been married for 2 years. So how about we talk about that first, people? When I finally convinced him to do a budget with me, I was horrified. What? Here's a financial breakdown. No, you mean because you got the budget and you found out how much was in debt? Yeah. Well, so you see, that would seem like you didn't talk about money at all before you got married. And then after you got married, you waited until very recently to ask about it, or you found out about it somehow. Maybe you got a credit card bill in the mail and looked at it and said, "What's all this stuff?" And then that made you think, well, what are the other amounts on the other cards? Yeah. And so, and that was your dumbass fault for not asking to see that earlier. Lots of dumbassery going on all over the world here. Monthly income 5. All right, let's see. Maybe they made a nice. There we go. It's nice and separated here. My monthly net income, his monthly net. That's what 9170, 9180 something. Okay, so let's just go with 9100, round down. Housing 1400, and probably not bad. Don't know if that's house or apartment, mortgage or renting. Transportation $650 a month. On what? I mean, I guess that may include like X amount for vehicle repairs or something like that, maybe. Food $1,200 for 2 people. Not necessary. It did say it was just the 2 of them, right? Yeah. Not necessary to do $600 per person. Not necessary per month. Not necessary at all. So you can cut that back some. Personal. This consists of, that's not personal. That's a kind of, that's like, these are like utilities. $100 clothing a month. You don't need to do that. In baby step 2, you would not be buying clothes. You don't buy any clothes. That is one of the 4 walls, but that's assumed that everything you have has tears in it. So no clothing budget of $100 per month. No, you're doing it wrong. The 75 phone bill, if that's for both of them, that's not bad, I guess. 80K not 80K, that would be too much. $80 self-care. I don't know exactly what that means. Does that mean like going to the spa, or does that mean just like going to get your hair did or something like that? Haircuts. $150 in subscriptions. We can cut probably most of those out. $200 my fund money, $200 his fund money. And you can cut that down from that. You can go down to 100 each if you need to do that a little bit more. 180 in gifts. We're going to stop giving so many gifts. Because that's another thing. With I'm not like my ex-wife. My not really close with that many people. But she's close and knows, it seems like, everybody in the state of Ohio. And so there was always a gift to be gotten every single week for somebody. And so she did stop that when we were trying to pay off debt. And so some people did get left out, not family members, but like just friends, stuff like that. They waited until we were out of debt. $60 laundry at a laundromat. Okay. That is so, see, that's so weird. That's so weird. It's interesting what other people will do. So you're willing to spend money on all this bull crap, but you can't have an in-unit washer and dryer. That's my splurge on that. And guess what? It doesn't cost as much as you are spending more than me on all of these things here. The phone bill, my phone is cheaper, even if you added 2 of them together. The $100 clothing, I hardly ever spend any money on clothing. I don't know what this self-care is, but I probably don't do that. I probably don't take good enough care of myself. The subscriptions, I probably do have that, but then again, I didn't when I was on baby step 2. I'm on 4 and 5 right now, and I do have, so I have one video game subscription. I'm trying to think if anything else. No, none are coming to mind. Um, and my fun money, I don't have a fun money per se, but if I figure out I want to buy something, I just add it to the budget. And that's easy to do when it's a budget for one. If you're doing a budget for just yourself and there's an argument, you might need counseling at that point. That's a joke I made up the other day. So yeah, so I would cut out most of this other stuff just to have a in-unit washer and dryer and pay the extra for that, which is nowhere near the amount of all this stuff that you are paying for. 300 miscellaneous. No, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. This is like a slush fund or whatever. We don't do slush funds there. You need to be intentional with every dollar. That's why they call the app every dollar. And so we don't do that. So it's what miscellaneous crap do you have that keeps coming up? And a lot of times, guess what? You don't get to do it. If it's some kind of trip with the girls or a night out with the boys and you forgot it and didn't put it in your budget, then you don't do it. $50 hair. Okay, so that's not part of the self-care then. Hair is different. And that's probably just for hers. Doesn't include his haircut. 120 nails. Well, you shouldn't be doing construction work at any time. I kid. I know it's for fingernails. Yeah, maybe you just clip them. How about you just clip them and make them look nice that way instead of going to the salon, and that way you can send that 120 to debt instead. So, and you're the one apparently that's really worried about it. So how about we see some skin in the game from you in cutting stuff? And maybe this is just the what they have been spending, and she's looking for things to cut. You know, most of it would be 100 on nicotine. Yeah, that's a no. 200 on cannabis. How about we quit both of those right now? Health. What about a health is that? Health insurance? Don't know what health is. Don't know that you can buy health. I guess you can. They just don't call it that. Total debt's $81,000 with $1,916 in minimum payments. Yeah. How long do you think that's going to take to pay off $81,000 on those minimum payments? A very long time. This is half credit card debt, a quarter student loans, and one car loan and tax debt. You could sell your car loan. How come we didn't get a car loan price in here? That's an expense. Is that what the transportation is? The car, $650 car payment? You can sell that car and be done with that and buy a beater. And then you don't have a car payment anymore. What about $5,000 liquid? Should we have $5,000 liquid goods? No, we shouldn't, Steve. I answered for you. And if they do have $5,000 liquid, what is it that we say for that? They're doing it wrong, Steve. Yes, they are, kids. You are correct. Baby step 1 says save $1,000 as fast as possible. That's your starter emergency fund. It does not say to save one more cent than that, does it? No, it doesn't. All the rest of the money goes to your expenses and all the rest of debt. 13,000 IRA and 8K in stock. Okay, that's great. You don't take the 1,300,000, excuse me, out of the IRA. Any money in retirement accounts you don't take. If this freaking 8K in stocks, if that's in a brokerage account and no penalties to take that out, that's bye-bye too, just like the 4,000 of the $5,000 savings you have. 13,000 in his retirement account, right? And how did we get that so equal? Interesting, isn't it? We got to make it equal. You would think that just by the differences in what is being, maybe it's just S&P 500 index fund in both, and that would make them both be the same rate if they're contributing the same. Anyway, just typing that makes me think we need an even bigger reality check. Yes, you do. You do. You need to embrace the reality of the numbers and stop spending money on everything. This budget is drastically reducing what our previous lifestyle was like. Oh, my bad. That's my bad. I thought this was ahead of time. I was hoping this was ahead of time, and now this is what they're doing now before making a budget. But no, this is them cutting stuff down. So no, you still got to do some work, sweetie pie. We spent, so we're only doing this right now. We spent over $1,000 on restaurants so far in September. Okay, so the second, did you just convince him to do the budget? Isn't that what it was? I finally convinced him to do a budget with me, and I was horrified. And that was what, the day before you posted this, 2 days ago? So that's when. So hopefully after that, hopefully we didn't go out to eat at restaurants to discuss it. Hopefully we didn't say, "Oh man, that's a problem. Hey, you can go somewhere to eat." Hopefully that didn't happen. That is crazy. $1,000. Crazy. That's probably not great anytime, but if you're on step 4 plus, and you put that in your budget, that's fine. You probably have to spend that much on it. You probably have to cut out something else, but that's fine. But on step 1, 2, or 3, and you're on step 2, that's a no. See, that 1,000 goes down to 0. We made this budget less than a week ago. Okay, so it wasn't as recently as I thought. Like immediately, okay, we're going to make a budget, and made a budget, and then looked at it and was horrified, and then said, okay, I'm going to go to Reddit. So that was a week ago. So if it was a week ago, I bet they probably did eat at a restaurant one time since then. I would almost bet my hands on it, but it would be the one time I would be wrong about something. Immediately stopped. Okay. Immediately stopped making the budget, or immediately stopped spending. Okay. All right. Cool. See? So I would have lost my hands. I'm glad I didn't actually bet. We want to follow Dave Ramsey's teaching. Again, you do it. You don't just want to do it. You actually do it and make yourself do it. As adults, when you decide that this is the best thing for you, then you make yourself do it. Nobody said it's going to be fun. I assure you it is not fun. It is all completely worth it, though, and you will know that once you get out of step 2. And then again when you get out of step 3. And so, yeah, you're no more retirement investing until your debt is gone and you then have your full emergency fund. 31 and have no kids. We want to have kids before I'm 35. Has nothing to do with the debt. But you get rid of the debt by then. You got 3 years to get rid of the debt. But the car you can sell. If you're in too much house, you can move down in housing as well. But yeah, you got to cut way more than this. Let's see what the first one is. Get rid of clothing, self-care, subscriptions, gifts, hair, nails, nicotine, cannabis. Cut down $1,200 for food to $600. And above all that, to debt for 2 to 3 years, and you'll be out and ready to have kids. Exactly. Exactly. But see, people don't want to give up that stuff. The average person will not give that stuff up, and that's why it's very normal to have people in debt, and why the normal people will not do the Ramsey advice. You got to be abnormal. You got to be weird to do that. Agitated Crow. How do you set aside money for unexpected house maintenance and repairs? You have a house maintenance and repairs sinking fund that you put money in? Was that so difficult? People are nutty with questions like this. Because, yeah, obviously you do a separate savings for that. Maybe the question is not as simple as that. Maybe they're saying, how do you actually set aside the money? How do you actually have the money to do that? Well, that's easy. That's the same as, how do you set aside the money to pay off debt with? How do you set aside the money to build your $1,000 emergency fund with? How do you set aside money to build your full emergency fund with? How do you set aside money to invest in step 4? Of course, all those are done at different times, not all at the same time. People are nutty that think that too. But yeah, how you set it aside is that you do not spend it on anything else. And again, you would think that would be self-apparent, but people just don't. Some people have a blind spot with money and things like that, where it just doesn't occur to them, oh wait, you mean I don't have to get this Starbucks today? You mean I have an option where I don't have to go out to eat? You mean I can just clip my nails and manicure my nails nicely at home instead of getting my nails done at a salon for $150 freaking dollars, or however much it was? Yeah, but to most people, they don't even think about that taking that off the table. They don't think about it. Nobody ever thinks about, nobody ever knows how to sell a car that you're underwater on. They often call up Mr. Ramsey and say, I can't sell my car, I'm underwater on it. Yes, you can sell your car. And that would be, of course, the one exception for some consumer debt that he allows you to take out. Mr. Ramsey is fine with you taking out, say, a $5,000 loan, if it's going to get rid of a car payment and pay off a $20,000 loan. See what I'm saying? So he's fine with you doing that, because you will have increased your net worth by $15,000. You will have eliminated $15,000 of debt. Retirement account loan, and that's a no. We don't tap retirement. Guess when we tap retirement, kids? When do we tap retirement? When you're retired, Steve? Yes, very smart boy. That is when you do tap retirement, when you are retired. Not until then. That reminds me, kids, when do we tap the equity in our house? When is that we do that? When you sell it, Steve. That's right, when you sell it. That kid is going places. Very smart. Yeah, when you sell it is when you get the equity in it. No equity loans. Quit being a dumbass. Retirement account loan, so that's a no. I'm pretty much out of consumer debt. Then what do you need the retirement account loan for, you dumbass? 40-year-old, 230K income dink. That would be your dual income, no kids. So what do you need a loan for? But I have a mortgage. On a $750K home, you don't take it out. I just said you don't ever take it out until retirement, so you also don't take that out You wouldn't take that out to pay off regular debt. You don't take that out to pay off a mortgage. So if that's it, let me just stop you right there, because then we don't need to look through the rest of the stuff. But I'm going to look anyway. And took a 40K loan on my 180 retirement account, 8.5% early this year. Well, you're a dumbass then. The loan was to remove some of my risk in the uncertain market. Oh, you're so full of crap. What did you have risk on? Remove some of your risk? What did you have that was you needed to do with that money to remove some of your risk? Just a few days after the loan, there was a pretty big dip, so I funded my wife Roth IRAs for the year. I then paid off my truck loan and parked the rest. 20K in high yield savings account. I've since been paying more aggressively on my mortgage, paying half plus a couple hundred every 2 weeks, and saving while maintaining a stable contribution in my retirement account. I'm paying off the loan. See, you shouldn't be doing any of that stuff. You know what you should be doing with that now? Pretty much out of consumer debt, but you're not. So you're in step 2. So you shouldn't be investing. You shouldn't be putting extra to the house. You're trying to do everything all at the same time. And guess what that means? That means it's going to take you longer to get to step 7. Quit being a dumbass. Anything else? I now have enough money to do what? I now have enough money. Where's it? To pay off the loan, but not sure if I should just do it now. Try to time the market again. We don't try to time the market ever. Do not ever do that. Maybe you got lucky this time, maybe you didn't, but don't do that. That is against the Ramsey advice. You buy on schedule all the time. So you don't borrow money to invest on it. Okay? So if you want to do that dumbass crap, why don't you get a HELOC for as much as you can on your house and invest that? That's dumbass stuff, right? But, and a lot of times people will say, oh, I wouldn't do that. Oh, but you would do it with your retirement account? Or you would do it up to $10,000? Why? Why would you do it out of $10,000 if you think that's the way to go and that's what works? Then why wouldn't you borrow as much as you can to invest then? It's because you know darn well that it's too risky. You're talking about you wanted to remove some of your risk. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. 40 years old, you still have freaking 20 years in the market. Your money that was in the account was fine. So you're just watching too many TikToks or too many financial bro videos. So, but yeah, none of the emergency fund, none of that should be done while you have that loan, that retirement account loan. That's baby step 2 debt. What would Ramsey and all of you suggest I do? Go back in time and not be a dumbass is what I'm thinking. But yes, you pay off yes, you're back on baby step 2. Congratulations. So yes, you pay that off in full ASAP. Yes. No waiting to see if there's another downturn in the market. Quit being a dumbass. Quit being a dumbass. Quit being a dumbass. Continue to pay off the retirement loan over the next 4 years. No, don't be a dumbass. So I guess when we chose number 1, that negated these 2. So yes, quit being a dumbass. Edit update. Wow, thank you for the overwhelming response. I see that I probably was more into making moves more than protecting myself financially. No crap. No crap. You were trying to be a financial bro. But as I mentioned in one of my replies, I was attracted to the simplicity of Ramsey method, but I didn't follow it. You are a dumb ass. What is this? XKC diver. Yeah, you're a dumbass. So yeah, I was attracted to the simpleness of the methodology, but I didn't do it. I didn't do any of his advice. I did it all wrong. So stupid. So stupid. Alrighty. Perhaps another night stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. That would be Sunday, the 21st of September. And we'll talk about what you guys think of the Fairwinds partnership. That's Fairwinds Credit Union, and they have become the new sponsor of the studio. And so it's the Fairwinds Credit Union Studio. I don't see a problem with it. It's a credit union, not a bank, and that's what Mr. Ramsey recommends. And so he apparently likes them, and they want to give him money to advertise them. So I don't see any problem with it whatsoever. They don't do anything. I mean, they probably make loans and stuff like that, but you can have an account with them and not do that. I've had accounts at several banks and not gotten any loans. Now, they try all the time to get me to borrow money from them. They try all the time. There's all these offers and such. And they even do that thing now where on a checking account, they'll say, well, hey, you know what you could do right now? You could have this much right now, borrowing it. And it's like, I don't need to. I have that much in my checking account, you dumbass. I don't actually say that to them. I just ignore it. And let's see. Oh, rework budget from the huge hole people. Okay, well, that'll be fun. Actually, let's do that now since we all remember it. Let's just see what the update is. That's fun. Thank you to all 500 plus people who left a comment. That is a lot of comments. And after taking all of your advice, I'm sure some people were dumbasses in that too and left the wrong advice. So hopefully you didn't do those. I've re-looked at our proposed budget and made this revised plan. Let's see what comes out. Let's see what comes out. Housing, they can still try to cut that down if possible. Housing total 1420. 150 rent. Is this 1420 in addition to the 150 rent? That we got to talk about that then if it's not. So yeah, it's not clear from this list what that's like, lady. What is it? Distinct damage. 4979. All right. So don't know why it would be 1420 there and 1150 here. Maybe it's the difference is for house repairs or something like that. I don't know. House decor every month. You don't need to change the freaking decor in your house. I haven't changed the decor in my apartment in years and years and years and years. In different apartments even. Had the same decor, which is nothing pretty much. $100 in gas. That went down from what it was, I think. 90 internet. I don't remember even seeing the internet there before. Maybe that was part of subscriptions. I don't know. 80 electric. That's going to be about normal. Transportation total $775. $30 of gas for the both of us. Okay, it's still $150 a month. Try to combine trips more so you don't have to leave the house 2 or 3 times a day and drive somewhere. Try that. Try combining trips to do different errands. Car payment for one car, others paid off. You could again sell this car and then you would now have a $300 payment. $35 tolls, living Jersey. All right. Well, that's going to be part of it. That's probably not bad for Jersey. If it is only if it is only $11.50 for rent, that's probably not bad for Jersey on the East Coast there. $40 car wash. Got a great idea. Why don't you wash it your darn self instead? How about that? Quit being lazy. Then everything I'm talking about cutting out here, that makes it faster for you to get out of debt. $100 car miscellaneous fund for oil changes and repairs. Fine. Food total $600. Oh, they are going to try that. I would love to know. Oh, $800 it says. Whoops. So they didn't take the advice. So they didn't follow all the advice because the first guy said take it down to 600. Oh, total 800. Gotcha. 700 groceries down from. So this should be no restaurants. It should all be groceries. You got too much debt. Zero clothing. Fabulous. And see, it didn't even occur to her beforehand that the clothing could be $0. Didn't even occur to her, I bet. 75 phone, 0 self-care. Excellent. I'm going to take a look at cutting these next. Well, taking a look at it doesn't cut any of them. You actually have to cut some of them. 0% fun money, 0 fun money. That's great. 100 gifts. Large family, birthdays, funerals, weddings this year were many. Down from 180. I mean, if it's only for family, $100 a month. Jeez. This is why it's good to be an isolated loner, kids, and then you don't have to buy gifts for everybody all the time. 600 laundry, go to laundromat because we don't have a laundry hookup in our apartment, right? And so that's why I said you can move to one that has one. And so if it doesn't raise your rent more than $60, you could move, but you probably don't want to do that either. No, because that'd be another expense to move. 150 miscellaneous in case random stuff comes up. Otherwise, we'll use for debt down from 300. You shouldn't even have this much. It's too much of a slush fund and invites you to do things that you don't need to do, even though people will say, I needed to do that. No, you didn't need to. You chose to. And if it's a chose to thing, then that means it probably needs to go to debt. 30 higher. Used to pay $400 a month to be platinum blonde, but now I'm dyeing my own hair brown and getting $15 haircuts at Great Clips. Fabulous. See, this is what makes it work. And you didn't even think about that before, probably, before somebody commented and said, you don't, that's not necessary. You don't need to go to the salon. People just get in these habits, man, and spend this money and just can't think of life without it. Even not that necessarily that they would miss it, but they don't know how to do it any other way. $60 nicotine. We vape and use Zen packs, but want to cut down. How about you stop altogether? I know it's hard to do, but trying to get out of debt so the money can go towards debt, that's a great time to do it. $25 pet food, care for our cat. Gym, you can cut out the gym. You can work out by running. You can work out at home. You don't need to go to the gym. Medicine and vitamins. Don't know what kind of medicine you're on, but the vitamins, you can do without them while you're trying to get out of debt. $200 doctor visit. Regularly see a therapist once a week, and both of us see a psychiatrist once a month. Okay, if that's actually needed. I'm not going to tell you to stop going if it's needed. If it's just because, everybody's in therapy now, that's not a good reason to go. So, but therapist once a week, is this a couples therapist? And then both of you see a psychiatrist once a month. So they made a point to say therapist here and then psychiatrist there. So I don't know what's going on there, so I probably wouldn't bother too much about that. I would ask what the nature of it is, as I would anybody. And then $100 medical. Now it's medical. It was not medical before. So if the medicine part of it called for 200 before, why are you moving it down to 100? So this is totes sus to me. Anyway, $424 auto insurance, $15 rental insurance, $25 pet insurance. Mr. Ramsey does not advise pet insurance. Debt total $81K. Temporary disability overpayment. Okay. So the list is in the wrong order. It should be smallest to largest. I mean, why are these separate? Are these first because it's the state and IRS? Okay, that's fine as well. IRS should definitely come first, and then I guess if it's the state, that's still the government, although it's state government, but still. All right. So yeah, that sucks because this 57 card is just aching to be paid off. But you're doing it correctly that way. So many credit cards. And 21,000 on 22,000 student loans. Currently spend $600 a month on credit card interest alone, and we are now budgeting $2,600 to pay down debt every month. I think this budget is a lot better than the first one I posted. Yes, it is, because it cuts more stuff, and look for more stuff to cut for sure. Okay, well that was fun. Not I want to do that and try to remember like what the details from the other one was. I'm glad I noticed, so I won't have to do that one. Tomorrow, need help enjoying money? It's hard to make that turn sometimes when you are on early baby steps and you go gazelle intense, and some people can't flip the switch where they say, I don't have to be gazelle intense anymore. I'm going to spend some money. I did not have any problem doing that. I have no problem spending money on it. It's something I want. I don't want like crazy expensive things, so that helps out a lot. But I've never had any problem with it. Would your Dave stay the course with 401k invested entirely in an index fund? The answer would be no. The younger you are, because it would be to first, if you check with your employer to see if they have a Roth 401k, and that's where your contribution should be going to now. But you can sell the index fund and buy a managed fund that makes more than the index fund inside the 401k account without triggering any kind of taxes or penalties or anything like that. So you can change it still. You could also do a thing where, oh, now that I realize that I want to do the Ramsey way, and that of course is the 4-way split between small, mid, large caps and international. If you're going to do that, you could just start doing that and just leave the index fund like it is and don't sell it, and just start putting all new investing contributions into the 4-way split that Mr. Ramsey recommends. And so we'll find out exactly what this person is doing. That snowball with variable rate HELOC and property taxes. Stop trying to change it. You do it as it's written, and we'll find out what kind of dumb crap they want to do, if any. Maybe just asking for general advice. Don't know. We did it. Seems like debt free, so cool. We'll read those details. Another marriage inheritance post. Okay, great. Any money that you get, you apply to whatever baby step you're on. Doesn't matter what money, doesn't matter the source. I feel like for me, there's something I am missing. Every now and then I fall apart. So I'm in a bit of a different situation than most. Everybody thinks their little situation is special, is different. There's Camel has a mortgage. I did read this, and this is interesting, but we'll talk about it later. Australian budgeting apps, mate. For anyone not aware, every dollar app isn't available in Australia. Family budget through new eyes. No, because you do want to quit thinking the way you were thinking before, because the way you were thinking was doing it wrong, obviously, or you wouldn't be on the Dave Ramsey subreddit or looking up the baby steps or anything like that. So obviously, mistakes were made. Higher salary or more stable job. The further along you are on the baby steps, the higher number of baby step that you're on, the more you can do changes like that. You can forego the higher salary to do not even necessarily more stable, but even a job that you would like more. Somebody's curious about something that didn't put in the title, and student loan debt assistance. Well, we don't ask for debt assistance. I don't know what that is. I wonder if that's debt relief assistance or something like that. If it says that, it's most likely a scam. And they do a thing where they have you stop paying on the debt and you send them the money instead. And what they do is keep that money and not pay your debts. They let your debts fall into collections, and then later they will call the lender and ask them to settle for less. And the only problem with that is that you can let your debts fall into collections without paying a company thousands of dollars to do it for you. People love to push things away and don't even think about the costs involved. They love to push it away so they don't have to deal with it. They don't have to push any kind of problem away. Oh, and I just have to send you the money instead, without understanding exactly what's going on there. So you can ruin your credit themselves, and sometimes they don't even tell you. Sometimes they'll tell you exactly what's happening, and people don't understand it. But also sometimes they will tell you exactly what happens, and people do understand it, but they do it anyway for some dumb reason. So I'm going to think they don't actually understand it, and they just say they do. Alrighty, I did not update the new shows, but we'll find out what they are. I'll let you know momentarily. I'm Coach Steve Money again, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach, and you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation assessment with me by emailing me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, CashApp, $Coach Steve Money. It was not taken. Or a Walmart gift card you can send to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, and these are subject to change. The Ramsey Show After Show, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Times, and those happen right after the newest Ramsey Show to YouTube is over. And I did some last week. I did 3 of them, 3 after shows and 2 answering your financial questions. And so it'll probably be about the same thing. I don't know which days yet though, but probably Monday we'll do an after show. Like I said, maybe 1 or 2 during the week, 1 or 2 days of this coming week. But there should be a show every single day, whether it's 11:05 a.m. or 8 p.m. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, and comment, of course. And as always, don't be a dumbass. Don't be stupid. Make smart. It says it right there. See, make smart financial decisions every day.